7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey there guys, I am back and I know I haven't done a video in a while. I guess there hasn't really been anything I wanted to work with really. But after a year of waiting, we finally get the continuation of Dino Fury, which is also meant to be a celebration of the 30th anniversary. But it's also meant to be the final chapter of this universe of Power Rangers till we get a reboot in the next couple years, I think. Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. So all 10 episodes dropped on Netflix, and if I had the time I would review each individual episodes, but I don't, so I decided to review the whole thing but given as much detail as possible and talk about everything as much as possible. Cosmic Fury isn't a perfect series, it does come with its flaws and I'll get to that, but from a Power Rangers fan aspect, from an anniversary aspect, from a writing and narrative aspect, it knocked it out of the park. I mean, considering this show was only like 10 episodes and it was all original footage apart from the Megazord stuff, and it had budget and schedule restrictions, it was able to accomplish a lot more compared to other Power Rangers seasons with a bigger budget and with 30 to 40 episodes. And considering you need to watch the first two seasons of Dino Fury to fully enjoy Cosmic Fury, I think the first two seasons of Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury feels much more connected than the 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin, because it still kept the same cast that we've grown to love and appreciate from the beginning of like 2021. Let me start off with the cast. The Rangers themselves are in their prime and have their moments to shine. Amelia steps up to become the leader and the Red Ranger, and the first 3 episodes really shows you what she's capable of when Sato disappeared, and I like the fact that she doesn't become the Red Ranger straight away. Like, the first 3 episodes shows you why she is suitable to becoming the Red Ranger, because the other Rangers weren't in the right mindset. And even though Sato came back and sometimes he did take command, but at times he wasn't at full strength, and Amelia had to step up because she didn't lose her cool when the other Rangers did. And even though Sato stepped down from the Red Ranger role, he was still like the most important piece of the series. His journey from like Red Ranger to Zenith Ranger to Morphin Master is like one of the best arcs in the franchise, and his goodbye to the Rangers was quite emotional. Ollie becoming evil for the most part of the series was interesting to watch. It's very reminiscent to when like Tommy was evil in Mighty Morphin or Trent from Dino Thunder. And I like the fact that it's not just a quick fix overnight, it does take a few attempts. Izzy is great as always, she still has her wit and charm, and Harvey was great, especially when he had to sacrifice his arm to unleash the new Zords. And he does get a new robot arm, but I was expecting by the end of the show like the Morphin Masters give his old arm back, but no, he has to deal with his new arm for the rest of his life. And I'm guessing the show is trying to show you the dealings with loss and difficult challenges, which I really liked, but I kind of wished like Harvey explained to his parents why he lost his arm and he's actually a Ranger. That kind of just left it open for me. Ion was probably the weakest Ranger in the series for me, but to be fair, he was the weakest Ranger in Dino Fury. I mean, Ollie talked about how much he misses Sato and cooked for the other Rangers, but I will say he did have some good moments with Sato towards the end. Fern becoming the Orange Ranger was a delight to watch, even though she wasn't a Ranger for that long. Let's talk about the Rangers that return, and it was great to see Billy Cranston come back, especially that first half of the series, and everybody was expecting him to be more of a mentor kind of role, but I would say he's more of an advisor, because the Rangers don't really need a mentor at that point, because they've been Rangers for a while, they've taken down Void Queen and the Nemesis Beast, so they proved themselves they don't really need a mentor. But Billy was there to give the Rangers tips and what they should really do. But I like the fact that he gives the Rangers new powers, and I still believe in my theory that Billy created the foundations of the turbo powers. And I like the fact they do leave that door open when Billy realises that Zordon is still out there and there's still a way to find him. Mick this time around was quite good. I mean, considering I'm not a fan of Ninja Steel, and he is one of like the redeeming aspects of that show, but I kind of liked him. He wasn't over the top, and I like the fact that he does get his red Ninja Steel powers back, even though he didn't do much with them. Heckle becoming the Dark Ranger for the most part worked. I mean, Dino Charge fans would be happy that he's finally the Dark Ranger, because by the end of towards the end of Dino Charge, you was expecting Heckle to become the Dark Ranger with the whole Dark Energy, but that didn't happen. I'm guessing Saban had restrictions, or they didn't have the rights, or they didn't have the suits. I don't know. Eventually the comics made him a Ranger, which was great, but now we get to see it in live action. And I know they cocked up his helmet with the silver lining instead of red. From what I've heard, Hasbro ordered from Toy, and that's what Toy give them. So I'm guessing it's not Hasbro's fault. And for you guys who are wondering how did he get his powers, I would say just read the comics. Even though they're not canon to the TV show, there's still a great explanation. Heckle was only in the show for like 2 episodes, but he is great. But I will say there are a few plot holes with the character, like how did he know that this dimension was in danger, and how did he meet Terek so he can become a spy and free the prisoners? For 2 episodes, he was entertaining to watch. I kind of wish he was in it for more. We do get to see the supporting characters of Dino Fury return, and they here and there, but they don't do a lot, and that's fine because the show's got so much to do with 10 episodes. Terek's the only one that actually does something, and I kind of wish he became Foyt Knight again so he can help the Rangers more. I was surprised that Jane and Jayborg weren't in like the final scenes of the show with the other characters. From the villain side of things, Lord Zed was a great choice as the main villain for this like 30th anniversary season, and I liked how the first 2 seasons of Dino Fury really like brought him back and kind of teased that he's more than just a one-off side threat. I mean, in this series he's doesn't really do much half the time, but when he does, he feels much more of a threat than he did in Mighty Morphin, especially like series 2. But there's this like funny scene in this show when like the monsters are doing some kind of like TikTok video, and Lord Zed just doesn't understand what's going on with this pop culture now, and he feels old, and he does get like the Super Shredder treatment by becoming Master Zed, which I think is a sleek design, but I also think they really like changed the narrative with that and really didn't make it predictable, which I really liked, and I'll get to that in a sec. The rest of the villains weren't really menacing, but I give them points from originality, like Bandula and Sunquilla Nerir. I like the Sentinels. I think somebody pointed out these are like the first foot soldiers to actually talk since SBD, I believe. I would have loved to see the Sea Putties return. It just made perfect sense. I like the fact that Slifer and Mucus return and becomes an ally to the Rangers. And I like when villains turn good, but not in like break the curse kind of way, but actually have a change of heart. There are monsters in this series, but they're no more than just extras, really. But I do like how they picked a variety from like Q Ranger, Zooja, and Lupin Ranger versus Pato Ranger. From a production point of view, you could tell they went all in with these 10 episodes. Everything from like the stunt choreography, the fight choreography, the score, the location settings, the camera work, it was all top tier. The CGI was clunky at times, but I let that slide. But even the writing was funny. There's this point when like Master Zed shows off his powers by carving a Z on a cliff, and all the Rangers are like, oh, it's an N. No, it's a Z. But if you look at it from that angle, and the Zed was like, no, that's not the point. The weakest aspect of the series would be the Cosmic Fury Swords. And I'm okay with the fact that we skipped a couple mechas from Q Ranger because there was no way we were going to have them all in like 10 episodes. But compared to the Dino Fury Swords, the Cosmic Swords felt more of a tool. And at the beginning, all 9 swords were just thrown in there with no detail or explanation to them. By the end of the show, like Lord Zed blows them up just like that. And there wasn't really much of a reaction from the Rangers. I've seen Q Ranger, I like the swords, but they're nothing really special, so I'm glad they didn't really go all in with these swords. I like the fact they actually broke the formula. The Rangers aren't limited to their own colours. And we've seen it done before a few times in the past 30 years, like in Zeo when Adam had to drive like the red Battle Zord. But in this it really goes all in because there's so many swords to choose from and so many combinations, but it's such a shame that we didn't really go detail with these swords. It was kind of a missed opportunity, really. From an anniversary series, there's a lot of surprises and callbacks and references, but it's not in your face. It really ties into the narrative nicely. Like at the beginning on the planet Sornia, where the Rangers acquired the Cosmic Swords, Billy mentions that this was the planet where my team acquired the Shogun Swords. Billy piloting the Wolf Cosmic Sword is kind of ironic back in the day in Mighty Morphin Series 3, where he used to pilot the Wolf Ninja Sword and the Blue Shogun Sword. There's a great tie into SBD where aliens lost their home, so they have to move to New Tech City on Earth, and that's where this universe becomes full circle because SBD was set in 2025 and we're only a couple years away from it. We do get to see some Megazords return, like the original Megazord, the Lost Galaxy Megazord, the Astro Megazord, the Ninja Blaze Megazord, and the Beast X Megazord. It was short and the CGI left to be desired, but I can understand why Hasbro chose this, because recently they made toys out of them, and I'm guessing they had like the 3D modeling on their system, so this kind of made sense. I mean, yeah, it was fine. It didn't really need to be needed, but for an anniversary series, it was cool. Banjira capturing Master Zed in a tube so she could shatter it and do the opposite effect of the Sea Wave and Countdown to Destruction with Zordon, but this time not destroying evil but destroying all that is good. Zordon coming back in an interesting way kind of confirms that he is still out there but also ready to help the Rangers when needed. I love it how the show ends. There wasn't some kind of epic battle between the Rangers and Lord Zed. Sato became a Morphin Master and tricks Lord Zed to live out his nightmares. But he also gives them a chance to redeem himself one day. So even Lord Zed has a chance of redemption. And Sato has to say goodbye to the other Rangers so he can become a Morphin Master. But by the end of the show, when the Rangers celebrate at like Harvey's gigs and Sato looks over them and says his really corny catchphrase, cool, cool, coolio. I just thought this was a great way to end the series. And yes, it was cheesy, but we forget Power Rangers is a cheesy show. But not only was it a great way to end the series, but I do think it was a great way to end this 30-year journey. Overall, Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, not only was it a great continuation of Dino Fury, but it was a great conclusion to this 30-year journey of adapting Super Sentai. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but I love the callbacks and references, and I love this 10-episode arc formula. And it was a great step towards more originality in this franchise. And yes, it was a great 30-year journey with a few bumps along the way. But I can't wait to see what else Hasbro can do with this reboot that we're going to get in a couple years. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Go like, share and subscribe. Let me know, what did you think of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury? Go check out my Facebook, my Twitter and my Instagram page. You guys are awesome. I got your back.